Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. We got stellar in the news, Bitcoin news for you. You're going to want all of it. We have the next domino to fall. We need to consider that. USDC versus USD Tether. You're going to want what just happened. Rosie Rios says the time is now. Every bank in Japan using XRP by 2025. We're going to revisit that. And David Schwartz talks about the secret sauce. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen. Everything we're talking about here today, 947 billion plus for the crypto market cap. We are off by a lot, to say the least. And we're up by 5.5% this morning. Good morning. It is June 20th, 2022, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful Father's Day out there, and happy Father's Day to everybody. 20,000 plus for Bitcoin. Ethereum is 1,100 plus, and XRP right now at the number 8 spot is 32 cents, 49 cents for Cardano. Let's take a look at the price very quickly here, ranging between 31 cents on the bottom, 33 on the top. We will keep an eye on it. Let's start right here. Stellar's making moves on the crypto market cap. It is now commanding 0.32% of the total cryptocurrency market cap, up from 0.25 just a few days ago. XLM has risen from the 31 spot to the 23rd spot crypto market cap ranking in June. Shout out to XLM and all their strides. You guys know XRP and XLM, they're my two strongest holdings in this space. I love it. And this is too, it is private equity right here from link2.com. Do not mess around right now. Look how quick it goes. Fully subscribed right now. Uphold. And Uphold is bad to the bone. I love Uphold. I've got Uphold. I've got some Ripple. I've got some Link2. But if you ask me, I don't have enough of it all. So I hope they replenish the Uphold on there. And if not, maybe I'll get some Link2 while I'm waiting in the process. Make sure you check out the link underneath the video. Take a look at this right now. John Deaton makes a great point sharing Ryan Selkis's tweet here, which, you know, Ryan's... Anyway. This is a must point to make when speaking with elected officials like Gary Gensler and his cronies will act as if Bitcoin and crypto are the only assets to crash, when it's showing right here from Ryan Selkis. Meta Platforms is 163.74, down from the 384 range we saw not too terribly long ago. So, you know, it is a great point. You know, everything is down. It is not just, it is not just crypto. It's everything. John Reed Stark here takes a shot. He says Bitcoin has no fundamentals, income, assets, or balance sheet. Bitcoin generates nothing, he says. Bitcoin is not essential for anything, but per Senator Loomis and Michael Saylor, Bitcoin is an ideal store of value. They keep using that phrase. I do not think it means what they think it means. You know, I have said this when I was, you know, before the bill came out, when the bill first came out, I was so skeptical because someone like Senator Loomis can be such a Bitcoin advocate, knowing full well that proof of work is not necessary to run a blockchain this day and age. I make the analogy of Bitcoin is like the first cell phone. It showed the world what's possible, but now we're all using smartphones. No one is still using or in demand for the first cell phone. I'm grateful for Bitcoin, but does it actually find itself in a place of necessity or a place of scalability? And I don't think the answer is yes. And even more to the point, you're looking at real problems here if it doesn't end up recovering. And listen, I hope that everyone makes a gazillion dollars a piece on Bitcoin. But for me, there are real issues there. You have to ask yourself, if retail trading on Bitcoin were to stop today, does Bitcoin continue to have a use case based on its transaction speed and time of settlement. What is the use case outside of retail investors buying it for more than the last person bought it for? And there's real downside here if this doesn't find a real use case in the long run here, regardless of the long settlement times and high transaction fees. El Salvador approved Bitcoin as legal tender, but the nation has lost more than $56 million by gambling on the digital asset. I feel for the citizens there and hope that they don't have to suffer any more loss. But I tell you, I think there's more downside to come for the whole market, including Bitcoin. Iran announces they're restricting Bitcoin mining by cutting off electricity amid high energy consumption. Look, there's more, I can't say any more about it. All I can do is highlight what's happening here. And you could see in the United States what's going on, whether it's Brian Brooks, who I have a great admiration and respect for, or other people in, backing Bitcoin and sustainable renewable energy sources. That seems to be the play here in the U.S. is that, hey, if we use solar power or hydro or something of that nature, or we find a way to use spill-off waste from oil refineries and use what would just be a pollutant to power Bitcoin, I get all of that. But, I mean, is that really something that is scalable and sustainable? And is it going to ultimately solve the long settlement time and the high transaction fees for it to really develop itself a strong use case? I just don't know. Maybe I do. John Deaton says, this is why I filed the writ versus the SEC. The SEC is supposed to claim a specific transaction on a specific day equal an offer and sale of security, but instead it alleged that every sale from the beginning until today is a security from XRP. That was the second indication the lawsuit was a weapon, and it sure was a weapon at my house. That is for damn sure, John Deaton. And God bless you for doing what you're doing. And right here is what was pointed out by Bill Belisarius here, and shout out to you. One interesting point from the Library SEC case makes in its opposition to the SEC summary judgment motion is that the Howey test is transaction specific. And the SEC has recognized this to be so. They cite Hinman's Ethereum free pass speech in support of the argument. Isn't it something how the SEC takes these positions when it suits them in these cases? Let's remember the reason we're talking about the Library case is because it is supposed to end before the Ripple case does. And if the judge wants to, it could so use the decision from the Library judgment to be informed on the case and how to rule for the SEC versus Ripple as a part of that judgment. So we want to follow what goes on there. London Stock Exchange appoints group head of digital assets. Now, what do you suppose they did that for? When I see this in this down market, this is the thing right here, that one of those fundamental pieces of news that just tells me, I'm just early. I'm just early, right? We're all just early. And do I want it to moon yesterday or 2 years ago? Of course I do. But one of the greatest learning lessons that is an active lesson for me as an investor is patience. And I do feel like for the first time in my life, the stuff is about to hit the fan and I'm finally standing on the right side of the fan. That's what I think. Shout out to Big Skitty on that one. And at this rate, check this out from Eleanor Terrett. She says, as Bitcoin and Ethereum recover slightly from the weekend lows, investors are keeping a close eye on USDT and Tron, as some now believe they could be the next dominoes to fall in similar fashion to US Terra and Luna. Stablecoin and USDT has depegged from the dollar, dipping as low as 94 cents. I add to that because I think she's on to something here. I say, and at that rate, things are going, at the rate things are going, USD Tether soon after this crypto downturn may get bigger before it gets better. I really do believe that USD Tether is in the crosshairs now. And we know that they are also trying to do disclosures, and we're going to do a full public audit, and we're going to show everybody. And I'm reminded right here, as I want to remind all of you, Tether says it's preparing a full audit with a top 12 firm to provide more transparency on its USD Tether reserves. They can feel the regulators and the government's coming. I can feel you at the door, right? Yeah, that's what's going on here. I'm reminded of what Caitlin Long said, about US Terra and Celsius freezing up. It was Celsius. She said, remember what she said about Celsius, just because you're licensed doesn't mean you're regulated. This may be a day late and a dollar short, pun intended. And this just happened. USD coin flips USD Tether in a number of daily transactions on the Ethereum network. I would look for this trend to continue. It may go back and forth for a while, but I would look for this to be the trend to continue. It is quite clear to me that USD coin is the chosen one. No doubt about that one at my house. The time is now, ladies and gentlemen. Rosie Rios, 43rd Treasurer for the United States Treasury and Ripple board member. Let's hear what she has to say. Shout out to James Rule for this one here. The time is now when it comes to crypto and the metaverse. Let me set it up.
The intergenerational wealth transfer that's going to go on. What do you think about?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. And if you're only thinking about it now, you're behind the 8 ball. The train has left the station. I keep saying that, and it's absolutely true, especially when it comes to this topic. So what people need to realize about intergenerational wealth is it's already happening, right? So we're talking about so the boomers, which is my generation, we have the most discretionary income. But this next generation, basically, the millennials, although it's pretty much anyone born in the mid-90s and later, are going to inherit this opportunity to really think about investments in a totally different way. So when you think about those generations, so technically, the millennials or anyone born between 1980 and 1996. But again, look, my son's 26, my daughter's 21. I call them the Robin Hood investor, right? But in reality, these are kids who grew up with the internet, right? So anyone who's grown up with the internet, they see the world as very flat. It's no longer what they're taught at home, what they're taught in the classroom. It's what they see. It's what they've learned, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the internet. They're very tech savvy, they're very confident, but they don't have the experience that perhaps a lot of wealth managers, financial analysts, managers, etc. need to really understand how to think about their investments. So for me, it was very important that I get into their heads. My daughter's 21, my son is 26. When I left the Obama administration in 2016, after serving both terms, I studied these kids, I call them kids, for 2 years at Harvard. And I really want to understand kind of the social, political, economic way that they think and how they behave. And for them, it's kind of this one and done world, right? It's set it and forget it. Right. Technology means everything to them. They're very, very confident, they're very progressive, and they're very savvy. But again, they lack a lot of the world experience that my generation still has. So even here now in this economic downturn, this unprecedented economic downturn, this is where, in my opinion, the wealth management industry has a huge opportunity. It's no longer about taking them out to golf and buying them dinner. It's really kind of thinking about how to use technology and information in a totally different way. So if you're not already on their app, on their phone, and that's how they access information, if you're not already there, you're behind. You're behind. So for people to really think about how to use technology, how to kind of think about kind of out of the box approaches to investments, and really it's not just about assessing value, it's creating value. And again, really being able to understand how these kind of exotic investments work, whether it is crypto, whether it is thinking about getting into, whether it's the metaverse, etc., these pre-IPO opportunities, the time is now.
The time is now, and she knows it. Now, this is somebody who, from the 43rd Treasury, has always been right in front of growth. whether it's talking about a new money that she's talked about help creating, or whether it's talking about where we're going now, where she's always looking where the puck is going to. And the gentleman interviewing her even says that later in the interview. But I have to say, you know, the time is now. You know, being in at the right time means being in at the bottom. Well, what are we looking at every day? We're certainly not looking at the top. And if we do want to have a moment where we have a chance to harvest our portfolio for some real gains, then we better be able to stomach the real losses. Not financial advice, but I think that's where we are on this day. Now, take a look at this very quickly. I want to move to this serious question. Look at this, $238.08 in order to do a transaction fee on the Ethereum network. And telling XRP since birth kindergarten crypto kid that you don't have enough ETH to be able to process that account. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? At least $602 and try again. To move $238 to deposit at least $602. I have a serious question here. Someone please explain to me why banks would ever use ETH network for payments. The fees and the miners controlling the network alone are a non-starter. Please help me understand. I want to understand. Remember Rachel Lee? She used to have a lot of insights back in the day. This is shared by Riz as a reminder. If you think only JP Morgan was calling crypto a scam while building their own secretly, think again, because there's a whole new global financial system being built in secret for years now by the IMF, BIS, central banks, and I add to that Russia and the BRICS coalition. XRP will take the role the US dollar plays today. We are impatient and we want to see XRP get to $1,000 in the blink of an eye. XRP will easily glide to 3-4 digits when the world is ready to accept and fully implement the new global financial system. All efforts are being made to position XRP as a global reserve bridge asset. And I think that's a key reminder. And I do believe that as well. And I believe with the remarks we heard from Jerome Powell just late last week, talk about the idea that there's rapid changes to the global monetary system that could challenge the international role of the US dollar. This isn't just people on Twitter and YouTube anymore. Judy Shelton even talked about it right here in this video.
Paul Volcker was a big believer in Bob Mundel's idea that global monetary reform should be pursued. In January 2000, Paul wrote an opinion piece for the New York Times entitled, "Toward a Single World Currency to Level the Playing Field." Here's what he wrote, quote, "My sense is that if we are to have a truly globalized economy with free movement of goods, services, and capital, a world currency makes sense. That would be a world in which the objectives of growth, economic efficiency, and stability could be reconciled," unquote.
And that's how you do it today, because we have the technology to be able to do it today. Just like Gary Gensler has said that we covered here many times. You have to have a ledger that can talk to other ledgers and be able to make that agreement to settle at the same time. And you can do that with a bridge asset like XRP using the XRP ledger and the interledger protocol, by the way, which can interoperate with anything. Then I'm reminded of SBI's Yoshitaka Kitao, who said back in 2019, every bank will use Ripple's XRP by 2025. We're just 3 years away for such an event. Early investor in Ripple, huge advocate and believer in XRP. I know that they remain strong to this day on the use as a bridge asset. Then this diagram hits me right here. Look at all the stuff we've been seeing. The Fox Newses and the CNNs and CNBCs and all the other mainstream media organizations talking about the shiny things to invest in, the MetaMask, the Bitcoins, all the Dogecoins, all of those things. And then what do we see happening down below? All the biggest banks in the world partner with Ripple. And what's holding it back? The anchor known as the SEC. while Ethereum continues to put band-aids over its operation and network, claiming that we're going to be able to get to proof of stake and we'll be better once we get there. You won't need to put $600 worth of ETH in to do a $300 transaction. I'll believe it when I see it. Then there's the secret sauce. David Schwartz back in 2017, it's resonating with me today stronger than it did then, and it was resonating with me then. Ripple's targeted use case for XRP is settling international payments. This will require a significant expenditure of money to make it happen. A key reason nobody has done something similar to date is simply that there was no good way to make money at it. Because Ripple holds so much XRP, Ripple can capture a significant fraction of value of any future increases in the price of XRP. This gives Ripple a revenue model to justify the expenditures needed to position XRP as a settlement asset. Ripple's 60 billion plus XRP is a secret sauce. The thing it has that its competitors don't have, that will allow it to spend tens of millions of dollars and attract top talent to build a high-speed, low-cost, cross-currency settlement system. Which, by the way, I believe they've already done. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. That's where we are on this day. I'll catch you on the next one.